Well, welcome everyone. I'm so grateful for you joining us today and wanting to put or learn more about how to take care of your health and happiness. So I'm really grateful. I was mentioning earlier, I'm in Arizona right now. And so normally I'm in Louisiana, but I kind of share those two homes. And so I've learned a lot by being in the Southwest and what can impact your health there. But I've also learned how being in the more of a moldy environment and lots of moisture and how to deal with that. So I've gotten quite an education. The things that still surprise me is how much chemicals people put on their lawns when they're in a human client that we don't even think about in Arizona because we're just so excited that a plant grew that we don't do anything with it. So I am always learning. So, all right. Well, thanks for joining us today. I'm Jody Colgrove, and I have been doing quantum techniques for 14 years, and it's so much fun. I just truly enjoy it, and it's just kind of part of what I do and love to share everything I've learned with people. And so I'm excited when people are interested in learning how to take care of their health and happiness. And that's really exciting. So I'm a health and healing coach, and I do energy medicine, and I use muscle testing to get to the answers of finding out why somebody is having a health issue and what they can do about it. And so I've been doing, I use a modality called quantum techniques, but I'm also trained in EFT and a little bit of Dawn and Eden's, method of energy medicine. And all of that is kind of used to help really know what's going on with the body and what we can do about to help it heal. So I help people get their health and happiness back. And I've worked from everything from digestion to sleep, to food toxins, to allergies, to diabetes, hypertension, anxiety, fibromyalgia, relationships, traumas. It could be things from money issues to sexuality. They all are part of how to maintain the best that we are. And I've worked with, people, boys, girls, teenagers, kids, babies, pets. I even wrote down here, from fish to horses. So it's somebody says, you should always, limit what you do. And it's like, man, I've done such a variety, and it's fun for everything. It's fun to find out why a dog is not having an appetite. And then it's, finding out why a horse was having an eye issue. And I think the fish wouldn't eat, so there's always just something that you learn. And it's fun to be able to see how that can help that pet get better, and they can't tell you. And so when you can dialogue through energy medicine and muscle testing, it's so rewarding, because and especially with babies, that's where I started with my son. And so being able to know, why is he crying? What can I do to be better? It helped empower me to be a better mom and a better wife. And that's just been very soul satisfying for me. So I just, again, thank you that you are wanting to be here to take care of your health and happiness, and that I have a passion for sharing and learning, and I'm glad that you are willing to have that same passion back. So feel free to leave me information on the chat of where you're tuning in from, because I think that's helpful. And so thank you, Donna, for joining today too. So we're just getting started. So today I'm talking about brain fog, and it affects all of us at different times, and sometimes it can be more severe than others. I think also, to just be aware, it could also be kind of almost like ADHD, in other words, where your mind is running so much. So do keep that in mind, that those are kind of like two pendulums, and we're trying to keep it in the middle in that homeostasis time, but they can both be two parts of the issue. So what makes us feel like we're swimming through oatmeal or glue and walking in the fog? That's what a lot of times what happens. It makes us so hard, or having brain fog makes it so hard for us to get through any task. It slows down our brain to like a crawl, and we have no energy. So why does this happen? Why do we get that brain fog, and why do we feel this way? And so what can we do about it? So that's what we're working on today. So I'm just going to kind of give you a story, and just hold on one second. I'm sorry. Thanks, guys. I'm sorry about that. Okay. So one time when I moved to Louisiana, there is a specific restaurant that I enjoy eating at. And so we went out to eat there, and I normally get the burrito and feel great. Well, I got the burrito in Louisiana, and I felt just, I could feel my brain just slowly slow down. It was the weirdest thing because I was riding in a car afterwards. And so instead of being busy and then trying to do activity, I could really feel the effects. And what I found through muscle testing is that particular tortilla that they were using had glyphosate in it. So genetically modified wheat. And so the glyphosate was in that wheat, and it slowed down my brain. And so eventually I did get a headache, but it also slowed down my brain. And I was just kind of amazed that sometimes, you know, you can get food at one area in a different area at the same restaurant, but it can be different. So it's always good to muscle test to find out, you know, how is the bread? Give an example of, let's see, Wildflower is a place where they have a lot of, you know, bread products, but they don't use a lot of the glyphosate or heavy GMO in their wheat. And so that bread specifically doesn't affect me. But if I go to Olive Garden, there's a chance that they are having that kind of bread there, and it affects me more. So that's why muscle testing is nice to know. Instead of having to try them and maybe feel one way or other, you can muscle test and find out, okay, this bread is going to be okay, but this one is not. I always laugh because Louisiana absolutely loves donuts. And so I can muscle test which one has more glyphosate or not. And so it just empowers me to say, okay, the donut may look good, but I know what it's going to do to my body. And so I'm going to choose not to eat the donuts at church. Because I know they'll affect me. So thanks everybody for tuning in for where you're from. So that's great. All right. Okay, so because of that, so that's kind of our first thing is, where does this come from? So the first one is, like I mentioned, it's from wheat, or it can be from wheat, and the glyphosate in GMO foods, where they just have a lot more chemicals than we're used to, or that our bodies are used to being able to process. Another thing is a brain virus. And so we come across viruses in our natural environment. And so if we have a strong immune system, our body can take care of that. But a lot of times that virus kind of hits the brain area. And so that can be, you know, any part of the brain. And so sometimes people are susceptible to a specific area impacting them. And so, you know, it could be behind the head. And a lot of times there's a combination of things. It could be side the head, which pulls in different organs. A lot of times, you know, it's the body detoxing, whether it's a kidney, the gallbladder, the liver, those all kind of depend on your genetic structure and what your body is having to deal with, or what it has had damage from in the past that has made that particular area weak. So brain viruses will create kind of a brain fog in your brain. Another one is mold. Mold a lot of times will either speed up or slow you down. And it can be mold that's on the outside environment, whether it's in your house, in your car, where you work. It can also be that you are more sensitive to mold in your environment if you're sleeping. So when you close your eyes, that's a different field than when you are awake. And so a lot of times what will happen is that if you have mold in your environment while you're sleeping, then you will wake up, and then your liver can't handle detoxing, and so it will wake you up. You can also have mold on the inside of you. So that's where you have a fungal infection that is inside the body. And so we can muscle test to find out where it is in the body, whether it's in the liver, the adrenals, the gut, whether it's kind of impacted your spinal cord, which then can kind of affect many different organs, because each spinal segment is an organ in your body. And then there's certain foods a lot of times that we eat that can add to that fungal infection or make it continue faster. And so a lot of times we recommend there's certain foods to stay away from, because they will continue to increase a fungal infection instead of not affecting you. So I think what I had to learn at first is say, okay, a specific food doesn't cause a fungal infection, but it will continue to make it grow if you eat it. And I think that's a really important distinction because I remember when I first started and I went, oh, you can't eat that because that's a fungal infection. Well, no, it's just will make it continue if you have a fungal infection in your body. So be aware of that. Heavy metals are another thing that can really impact the mind and keep the body in that slow, just down area. It can also be the flip and also increase and make it more faster. So be aware of that. If you've ever heard of like Mad Hatters way back when everybody wore bull hats and things like that, that is what they did. Is they dipped them in mercury, and then that's how they kept the felt nice and clean. Well, the people that did that were always around that substance, and so it made them kind of go crazy. Dental fillings can be part of that. Jobs that contain a lot of heavy metals like welding or airplanes, because, and I just kind of figured this out after a while or heard it, where they said that when you smell kind of like that fuel from the plane, that's actually lead in the fuel. And so we can get heavy metal toxicity when we're flying because of the fuel. And I just hadn't known that before. Also, heavy metals can be in different medications and things like that. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. So great. So those are some of the things that can impact you with heavy metals. Okay, so one of the questions from Darla is, can you tell me where the fungus is and if I have it? So we would muscle test that to find out if you have it. So I use this muscle here. So I push down on this muscle, okay? And so if I say, do you have a fungal infection? I get a yes, okay? Now, typically when we have a fungal infection, it starts out or impacts the liver last. I haven't always found that to be true, because sometimes we have it, like say in the spinal cord, or we have a certain organ that has impacted our body more than others because of our genes or just our life experiences. And so we will find that the fungal will hide in that area. Okay, so that could be like the vagus nerve. It could be the digestion area, that kind of stuff. Okay, so yes, Darla, I do find that you have a fungal infection. I do get liver, gallbladder, adrenals, at least those three. So those are something to look at. All right, so thank you for letting me take that little time, but my mom actually walked into the webinar that I was having with you, and she has dementia. So I've learned a lot about brain issues because she is a great teacher to me and teaching me what I need to know in order to help people with Alzheimer's and how to take care of your health and happiness. So so she came in and said hi and then left. But what happened with her is that there were several assaults on her brain through different things that she had come in contact with in life, and it affected the hippocampus. And a lot of times the hippocampus with Alzheimer's people shrink. Well, what we found is that her body started detoxing through the hippocampus. Now, when you detox, you are supposed to detox in a certain order, and that order is colon, lymph, liver, kidneys, lungs, skin, and for women, menstruation. Well, if your body starts detoxing in a different order or through a different organ, there's been something that has caused it to shift. And typically that is a non-physical issue. So we were able to use muscle testing to go in and find out why the body has shifted to a different way of detoxing and get it to correct itself by doing a trauma sequence and to clear that. So to me, that's really exciting because I found out kind of why it was happening and what we could do about it. So we've helped kind of clear her hippocampus so that didn't continue. And so she is a very happy Alzheimer's person, and we're able to help her be as happy as she can with that particular disease. So detoxing is important. And like I said, the order changes when you have some kind of a trauma that has impacted you. So what can you do to prevent yourself from getting brain fog? So first thing we said, besides not eating wheat or finding wheat that you can eat that doesn't contain glyphosate and GMOs and a lot of chemicals. Besides doing everything you can to take care of your immune system so that you don't get a virus. And so I have a mastermind on that teaches how to keep a strong immune system. And that's something that if you want some information on, I can send that to you. Another thing is, like I said, besides making sure that you have an internal and external environment that is free of mold. A lot of times people send us pictures and we muscle test to see if they have mold in their bathroom or in their bedroom or in the kitchen, and above the sink, below the sink. We're testing all different kinds of things, but it really helps be able to know where to start cleaning, how to clean it up, and how much you have to clean. Sometimes it can be just on the sill, or sometimes it can be on the drywall that's below the window. Sometimes we do find that there's actually been a water leak in the ceiling, and it's run down through behind the window or behind the drywall, and you actually have to work on taking care of the taking out the drywall, cleaning up the insulation, and making sure you kind of take care of even the 2x4s and making sure that those are clean from the mold. And so we have a great product that we have used, which is Mold Killer, which really has a lot of which really helps clear that and helps it get clean. And it's better than even just hydrogen peroxide to help clean that up. Okay, so that's taking care of mold in your environment, but also taking care of making sure you don't have mold inside your body by finding the different herbs that help clean that up. And those are things that we usually recommend to different people to find out whether it tests good for them to use. And then also eating foods that don't increase the fungal infection. Lay off of those for a while as your body gets come in balance and gets well. So besides cleaning up the heavy metals in your body, and those can be done through detox or just identifying where those heavy metals are, just kind of like the viruses and the mold. And then making sure you're not adding to your life the heavy metals, which is through your job or what you do, and making sure that the load is off the body. Several years ago, I decided to get my amalgams that I had removed. And I was surprised that I went to a biological dentist that did it very well, and it didn't cost a lot of money. So it's not as big of an invasive issue it is, but it's important to make sure you have good detox beforehand. Biological dentist is going to do it correctly, and that your immune system and your body is in really healthy in order to be able to handle that. So in other words, besides also making sure your body is detoxing well and functioning well to be able to get rid of the toxins that come in contact with, you can learn how to muscle test. And that is something that really can empower you to take back your health, to know what's best to eat, to know where you are encountering toxins in your environment, whether it's through your air, your water, your food, molds in your environment. It can also, through muscle testing, you can find out whether you have heavy metals in your water, and whether you're detoxing your body correctly. So all those things that you can find out through muscle testing, and knowing kind of the right questions to ask to get at the right answer. So muscle testing helps you get to the root cause of why you're having the brain fog. So it's important not to spend, another day, kind of feeling low of energy and slow thinking and being frustrated. Another thing that you can do is to reconnect your body. And I have a really great video that I can send you if you're interested on how to reconnect your body each day. And a lot of times we talk about that the body is like a house that's been hit by lightning sometimes. Okay, so if you have a house that's hit by lightning, that blows all the breakers and turns off the electricity so you don't have a fire. And that's great that it does that. So when you go back in and say, okay, everything's safe, and you turn back on the main breaker, there are times that the not every switch and plug in the house goes back online. And so you actually have to test them and make sure all the way down the panel to make sure they've all flipped. And if one hasn't, then we have to reset it. Well, your body can be the same way. When we've encountered a toxin or an emotional issue, it's like the lightning has come and hit the body and it's thrown the switch. And so a lot of times, we can get it back online by some reason, but we may need to test to see, make sure everything is back online. And so that's why these reconnection, they're like a form, or it's hard to explain what it is, but we reconnect the body and it helps us. And that's been really helpful for me. I have a root canal that we muscle tested to make sure that it was okay on that particular meridian, because every tooth represents an organ. And so we made sure that if I did get metal on a particular tooth, it wouldn't impact that organ, and it tested okay. But I also am aware that I don't want to have too much heavy metals in my body. And so I always reconnect that tooth with the rest of my body so it can see it and clear it and get rid of the heavy metals that it needs. So when I say reconnection, what we do is we have 3 charts. One is that we have organs, glands, and tissues that are the pulse charts. So a lot of times, if you know anything about alternative medicine or acupressure, they have the pulse charts right here. So we have a great diagram that kind of shows those. Then we also have what we call cortical contacts. So there's several areas of the brain that we like to just touch and put back online. And we call it tap above the ears, put back online, but we just tap. The other one is brain engines. And so we have things like MOG, we have cell memory, we have amygdala, hippocampus, motor, pons, cerebellum. And so we have all these brain engines, which are kind of like cranial cortical contacts, but they're a little different. And so we reconnect all those brain engines. So those are the 3 charts. And I'm welcome to send that to you if you want to give me your email in the chat, or you can also send me an email at jody@quantumtechniques.com. I have to admit, I'm not the best speller, and so it's best if you do send me an email, and that way I can make sure that I've gotten the right email and I can just send it to you real easily. But so we have those 3 charts, and then I also have a video that I can send you that shows you how to reconnect those. So it's easy to watch and follow me. Another one in reconnecting, or besides muscle testing and reconnecting, is to clear any traumas that come up with a trauma sequence. And that's a really easy, just a code that I actually have a mastermind that teaches how to release the trauma sequence, so that if your body is being impacted by some kind of a trauma, or it's not detoxing correctly, that's a chance that there is that trauma that's there that's not letting it detox correctly. And so you can clear the traumas. So that's something that you can also do. And traumas, that's kind of a big word, but traumas can be everything from, being stopped for a traffic ticket to dealing with, kind of the fallout of what we've been through for the last year. So all of that could be a trauma. Another thing that I can send you also is a list of our basic codes. So there's some generic codes that we like to use all the time that helps people clear. And those are for ingestants, inhalants, contactants, injectants, virus, and bacteria. So those are 6 codes that we find that if you feel like you've come in contact with something you ate and just don't really feel good, you could release the ingestant and maybe a virus or bacteria. If you've smelled some diesel fuel on a plane, or lead that has lead in it, that you can, or the smell of the lead, you can release an inhalant code for that. If you feel like you've come in contact with something, that like a rash you have, you can release a contactant. So there's many ways. You don't need to muscle test, but they're quick ways to help take care of your health and empower you to take care of your health. So I have a mastermind, like I was saying, where I teach muscle testing to help you know many different ways to do that. And so, again, you're welcome to send me an email at jody@quantumtechniques.com, and I can send you a link to sign up for that. I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to be teaching it, but it will be soon. So I can send you some information on that. So at Quantum Techniques, what we want to do is to help you get your health and happiness back. And so we discover why you're having a health issue and what you can do about it. So we use muscle testing to identify and find toxins like smells or mold or foods that's impacting your body and keeping you from health. A lot of times we work with non-healing issues. So, times when you've gone to the doctor and you said, they go, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's, autoimmunity or, and that's just a big word for saying, I don't know. And so we work with those non-healing issues where you're not getting answers to really what's going on. We also identify beliefs and emotions that are blocking your happiness. And a lot of times, there's intentions that we have or emotions that are just not letting us be in a healing state or are blocking us from having the health and vitality that we want. So I'd love the opportunity to work with you or someone that's dealing with not having or struggling with their health, so that I could help them get their health and happiness back. So I have we have a QT, we have a special offer where we do 60 minutes worth of testing for $300. And so it allows me to really get a good baseline of what you're dealing with and how you can eat things that are correctly, maybe not, wash your laundry in a certain detergent that's irritating your skin and your sinuses and your body. And then also clear any virus or bacteria and find out maybe where the mold is. Whatever it is your situation is, we find out what that is. We get you a good baseline to start and help make sure that you're going to detox what we just found. And also help ask questions that you might have. So it's a really good way of kind of getting some answers to the right question of why. So we have a question here. Let's see here. Great. Okay. So I got someone that would like that video. And so I will write that down here. Like I said, it's working on trying to make sure that I have the correct information. Okay, great. Darla, I think I messed up on sending you stuff last time, but we'll work on getting it this time. So, so I'll give you the charts, and I'll give you the codes. And it says, I use essential oils as well. And that's always important to test to see how good they are for you. Sometimes we find that people are very compromised in their gut with their flora and things like that, that they won't test as well with essential oils. And it's important to also make sure you have a really good quality essential oil, so you're not getting any pesticides with them. So we usually have people list, like what they're taking and find out if there's any of theirs that are actually irritating you too much. And we usually say, don't throw them away, just put them in like a Ziploc bag, put them, away where you can't smell them. And we can then get your body back in balance, like I said, the digestive system or something, and maybe the sinuses, and then we can retest them again after you've gotten that balance back and see if they're good for you again. So yeah, essential oils sometimes are really good. I haven't found too many people that were bad, let's say, on orange and lemon. So those are usually some good ones. I know I personally am bad on thieves, I say that wrong, thieves, and it really impacts me, actually gives me a headache. So I have to be kind of careful of that one. So everybody's different. And that's what's so fun about what I do is we all are different and our bodies are all different. And so because of that, we can muscle test, and it's almost like I'm like being a detective and finding out, okay, what is it your particular issue and what we can do about it. So I think that's just so fun. So we have a new website that I would love you to visit and get more information about what Quantum Techniques is. So that's at quantumtechniques.com. I also have a YouTube channel that you can subscribe to, and it's Jody Colgrove at Quantum Techniques. And I have a lot of videos there that really on different subjects about health that really kind of wet your whistle at finding out, how Quantum Techniques addresses this information about it that you may have not thought of before. And so it's a really interesting videos there. Like I use it a lot when I'm dealing with people and saying, oh, have you thought of this or thought of this? And so I'll send them a video that helps kind of describe the situation, helps them know some more information about it. You're also would be fun to join my Facebook page, which is Health and Happiness Through Muscle Testing. So that's kind of what we've been talking about today. So health and happiness through muscle testing. And I post, whether it's articles I found that are really helpful on, vitamin D or inflammation or thyroid issues. Also, post information that is motivational to help you kind of, make sure that you have a really good mindset for taking care of your health and happiness. I also have a Facebook page, which is, I'm sorry, back up. So I also have a Facebook group, and that's called Health Puzzle Academy. And what's really fun about Facebook groups is that we can communicate, and you can share things that you have found that have been really helpful about health. And that way we kind of have more of a dialogue, and that's really fun to be able to share on a platform where you're interested in health and I'm interested in health, and so are all the people that are there. So that's really a fun thing to take part in. So I appreciate you joining today and learning more. And I want to open it up for questions if people have questions about what we've talked about. So if anybody has some questions, I am welcome. You just have to take yourself off of mute. And I hope I didn't speak too quickly. Sometimes I get so excited about the subject that I do go fast. I figure it's my training from when I first started. I had a crying baby in my hands. And so I had to almost put my head down and just really go and learn how to muscle test. And so I think that's why I'm go a little bit faster because of that. So that's just my training. All right, so if anybody else would like the videos, or sorry, the one video and then also the charts about your reconnecting for the cortical contacts, the brain engines, and the organs, glands, and tissues, I can send that to you with a video that shows how to reconnect those. So, great. Well, great. I appreciate you showing up today and learning more about how to take care of your health and happiness. So great. So we have Terry that would like the chart. So so I will send you an email request. So great. Yeah, that's best. So I can get the link down and not have to mess up on the spelling. So that'd be great. So I look forward to having you guys, like I said, come to more of these Zoom meetings. I try to do one a month. I used to always do them on a certain day, and I think this year I'm just kind of changing up and doing different times. So we will have another Zoom meeting on April 8th. I think I'm wrong, April 7th. So that's a Wednesday at 11 o'clock Central Time, and talking about Renew 28, which is a topical ointment to put on your skin that really helps solve so many things. I mean, it's amazing how many applications you can do with it. So I look forward. I actually have some guest speakers on that, so I'm really looking forward to that. One of the speakers is oh, now I'm going to forget his name. Sorry, let's see if I can look it up real quick. I should know this. Let's see here. There we go. Bear with me. His name is Darian. I think his name is Darian Weiss, but he's part of Heal Network, and he has a lot of information about energy medicine and Renew 28, and so it's really a blessing to have him share. So please ask your friends to join us. It's really exciting, and I've really helped myself personally help heal from some heavy metal toxicity I had in my growing area by using the Renew 28. So it really helps with detox also. So look forward to sharing some of those neat stories. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate you joining today, and it was so great, Darla, to have you, and Terry, and and then I know her name's not here. She had to drop off. So, but anyway, I'm just so grateful, and I just hope you have a blessed rest of the day. So thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jody.
Right. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right.